I've watched the 40th episode of As Beautiful as You, and I'm going to do basically my review of this series. Even though I've had done a previous podcast talking about this show, I probably have a couple of mini rants in me about this, but overall, it was definitely a ride with this modern C drama. Hi, I'm Monique. I am the host of Off by Purple Art podcast, where I talk to you about K dramas, C dramas, BTS, and whatever else I want. As Beautiful as You has 40 episodes. I believe there's a 40.5 special episode as well, but I might leave that for another podcast to discuss. But as it stands, I have watched all 40 episodes, and I do have some thoughts about the show overall. I actually really do think that Shukai is really good. He is a male lead that is able to generate great chemistry with pretty much every female lead I've seen him paired off with as well. And the female lead is no slouch as well. I actually do think that their chemistry was good throughout the entirety of the show. But I do think that the 40th episode kind of left me a little bit disappointed. They wrapped things up, I think, a little bit too nicely in a bow, and I wish there was a little bit more to their wedding scene, but that might be a premature critique because I still haven't watched 40.5, which is a special episode, I'm assuming. So there might be a little bit more of the wedding and more of the romance and more of a more well-rounded epilogue for the entire series. If you cannot tell, I will be going into spoilers. I think one of the things that disappointed me in episode 40 was definitely the best friend Lily and her eventual relationship with Mr. Su there, who was the cousin to Xing, who is like the lead character. Lily and the best friend that was the venture capitalist, the investor for Han Ting, the glasses second male lead, I guess. Their relationship and its conclusion made total sense to me. He wasn't always forthright with Lily. He wasn't always trusting of her, and he put up a lot of barriers and walls. And I like that eventually the character said, enough's enough, and I'm going to choose me. I've put myself out there. I've met your daughter that you were trying to keep secret from me, and I was willing to, be someone that was present in her life. And I really felt like the character was really given the ring around. And even though I think she had a lot better chemistry with that actor versus the actor portraying Mr. Su in this, I get why that relationship had to dissolve. So totally makes sense to me. But I don't like the idea of her getting into a relationship with Mr. Su. And this is maybe more of a bugaboo of mine versus a critique of the writing in general. I can see what the writers were trying to do, but to me, I don't like the concept of when a woman rejects a man, that he takes it as like a personal mission, that if I can just be persistent long enough, that there will be payoff. Can people grow and change? Of course. Can friends who don't necessarily look at each other in a romantic lens later on in life start to see each other differently and then broach the topic of romance? Yeah, of course, that's real life circumstance, right? But I'm just talking as far as like narratively in a show. I just don't like what that represents, because Lily made it abundantly clear like multiple times throughout the vast majority of the show that she was not interested in this man, and she didn't look at him that way at all. He wasn't her type at all. And she was getting nudges from Xing, she was getting nudges from other characters, and because they worked together in this company, and Lily was vulnerable with him, and he definitely was sweet to her, and he definitely was caring towards her, but I never got the sense that he was doing that purely just because he valued her friendship, and he genuinely just wanted to care about her and wanted her to feel better and didn't like how she was being mistreated by her then boyfriend within the show. I always looked at it through the lens that he was trying to find ways to show that he would be the best male suitor for her. And maybe some would watch that and not find that to be problematic and think that I'm being overtly picky. But to me, narratively, I don't like that. I don't. I always took his caring and his generosity and what he did for her specifically as a way for him to not give up on the fact that she wasn't romantically interested in him. And he just could not take no for an answer. Yes, he eventually does what he should do. He was given this incredible opportunity to go study and be promoted essentially in Germany, and that would create distance between the two of them. And instead of just staying behind and trying to win her love once more, he tried one last ditch attempt and then decided to do something that would be good for his career and quality of life going forward, which is great. And I wish they kind of stuck with that. But in the end, Lily ends up, doing the whole romantic dash across the airport and stopping him before he gets on the flight. And then they can have their little romantic tete-a-tete. He does end up going to Germany anyways, but I guess we're supposed to infer that they're having this long distance relationship and that she finally caved into his advances and would eventually fall in love with him. Mind you, I'm saying all this and I still haven't watched the 40.5, so maybe there's something else that's in the epilogue that will change my mind, but I just didn't see it for them like that. I like the idea of him initially being interested in her, realizing that she's not going to reciprocate those feelings, and just deciding to shove those down and simply just be a friend to support as well as a confidant, while also working with her as a coworker. Like, I kind of was wishing and hoping that the show would have just ridden along that lines, and they didn't. There even was a suggestion of bringing in like another love interest for Sue, like down the line. And I thought that could have been cute, and he completely brushed that aside and said, no way. She's the one for me. I'm only going to have this one fixed focus on Lily through the entirety of the show. And I don't know, it doesn't ring true for me. As far as the other characters, like Zhang Li, the character who at the very beginning of the show I mistakenly thought was Hang Ting's cousin, who turned out just to be like a childhood best friend and was in the same social circle, so same social economic status, I thought her storyline was just so irksome to me. And there wasn't really a resolution that was satisfying to me as well. She did all these things, was consistently throwing wrenches into Jing and Han's relationship. And off screen, we only hear that she is receiving consequences for what she had done as far as all the dirty tricks and the manipulation and trying to thwart their business. And I just think the whole resolution of Han Ting literally being assaulted and sustaining massive injuries from this loose cannon that was technically instigated by her little man over there and her, that to me it just was so drastically out there, the whole kidnapping subplot that happened. And that Han Ting, of course, was the knight in shining armor and came to the rescue, but he sustained these massive injuries and could have died from this. And we just see in the 40th episode that she's going to be investigated for like all the company manipulations, and then that's just all done off screen. And it's like, really? I don't know. There was just something really deeply unsatisfying as how that relationship dynamic was concluded, and I think that character was pathetic. I've already told you my gripes as far as the storyline with the best friend, the supposed third best friend of Xijing, and her hooking up with her ex-boyfriend. I'm glad they dropped them off, but to me, for all that buildup and for them to then eventually marry with that extraordinarily tacky wedding dress, I will never get off of that. And then they literally disappear from the narrative. Not that I was really clamoring to see more of the relationship, but to me, it was just such a disgusting storyline. And I said this in my last podcast about the show, and I still damn well mean it. I don't get it. I just don't get how the writers thought that anybody watching this would root for that couple or see it as like some bittersweet happy ending. It's gross to me. Not even like a little after scene where the best friend comes forward and admits that, yeah, you know what, I was low-key lusting after your man while you guys were knee-deep in a relationship. And yeah, I came to him multiple times after you guys freshly broke up. And eventually, yeah, we fell in love and blah, blah, blah. But you know what? It was a real shitty thing for me to do. I'm really sorry. And I'm so happy that you extended so much grace towards us and attended our wedding. And yeah, I truly wish you and Han-Ting so much love and joy. And I genuinely hope that maybe the three of us can, or the four of us can come together and like, I don't know. But it just, the way that storyline just completely dropped off after they got married is so funny to me. And it's like, why? Why did it have to be done? But that's just my feel. Overall, the show, I don't know if it needed 40 episodes in particular. There was definitely things that I wish were expanded on a little bit more. I think there's things that I wish were dropped completely. I do think that the two leads had great chemistry. As I said, Shukai, he is a chemistry generator. So I think if you're into contemporary dramas and you like Shukai a lot, I do think overall this is a good show to binge. But I don't know, like I'm kind of left meh after the 40th episode, to be honest. That is kind of my final thoughts about the show. Let me know. Did you watch As Beautiful as You? What were your thoughts? Are they similar to mine? Did you enjoy the show the whole way through? How'd you like the chemistry with the two leads? Again, I think they could have done more with them coming together. I think like the wedding scene was really it was just really thrown together really hastily. But again, maybe there's something more in the episode 40.5, which I have not seen yet. Maybe that gives a little bit more of a fulfilled epilogue. We shall see. Let me know your comments down below if you're watching the video form of this podcast. If you're listening via Spotify or Apple Podcasts, love you, appreciate you as well. And I believe you can leave your commentary as well, especially with Spotify's platform. Have any thoughts about this show? I really appreciate you for watching and listening and tuning in. Until the next one. Bye.